Mia lived in a small quiet town where not many people came anymore. The streets were narrow and the houses were old. Most of the shops had wooden doors and dusty windows. People in this town liked simple life. They woke up early, worked during the day, and rested when the sun went down. Mia was one of them, but she was different in one small way. She loved old things. She felt they carried stories that were waiting to be heard. Mia worked at a small repair shop in town. Her job was to fix broken items that people brought to her. Sometimes it was a radio. Sometimes it was a fan or a chair. She always worked with care. When something was broken, she did not see trash. She saw something that needed attention. That was why she liked her work so much. One afternoon, after finishing her work, Mia decided to take a walk near the old storage yard behind the repair shop. The yard had many unused items. Some were covered with cloth. Some were open to the sky. Birds often sat on them. Most people never went there. They thought it was just full of useless things. Mia did not think that way. As she walked slowly through the yard, she noticed a large shape behind a wooden wall. It was almost hidden by tall grass and fallen leaves. She moved closer and gently pushed some of the plants aside. What she saw made her stop. There was an old Jeep sitting there. It looked very tired. The paint was dull. The tires were flat. Dust covered the seats. It looked like it had not moved for many years. A small metal sign on the front showed the year 1942. Mia felt a strange feeling in her heart. She had never seen such a Jeep before. It looked strong even though it was old. She walked around it slowly. She touched the side and felt the cold metal under her fingers. It was like touching history. She wondered who had driven it. Where had it gone? What had it seen? These questions filled her mind. The Jeep was quiet, but it felt like it had many stories inside. Mia went back to the repair shop and brought a small cloth. She wiped some of the dust from the front glass. Under the dirt, the glass still looked clear. That made her smile. It meant the Jeep was not fully lost. The next day, Mia came back with more tools. She brought a bucket of water and some soap. She started cleaning the Jeep little by little. It was not easy. The dirt was thick and old. But she did not stop. As she cleaned, the green color of the Jeep slowly showed again. People walking by stopped and looked at her. Some of them shook their heads. They thought she was wasting her time. One man asked why she was working so hard on something so old. Mia only smiled. She did not feel the need to explain. In her heart, she knew this Jeep was special. After many hours of work, the Jeep looked a bit better. It was still not ready to move, but it no longer looked forgotten. Mia sat on a small box and looked at it. She felt happy. It was like she had made a new friend. That night, Mia went home tired but excited. She could not stop thinking about the Jeep. She imagined how it must have looked when it was new. She imagined it driving on long roads, carrying people who had important work to do. The next morning, Mia woke up early. She ate her breakfast quickly and went straight back to the yard. She wanted to continue her work. She checked the engine. It was dirty and rusty, but it was not broken. That gave her hope. For the next few days, Mia spent all her free time on the Jeep. She cleaned every part she could reach. She fixed small things. She oiled the parts that needed it. Slowly, the Jeep began to feel alive again. The people in town started to notice. They came to watch her work. Some became curious. They asked questions about the Jeep. Mia told them it was from 1942 and that she wanted to restore it. Some people smiled and said it was nice to see someone care about old things. One evening, as the sun was going down, Mia finally sat in the driver's seat. She held the steering wheel. It felt strong and solid. She closed her eyes for a moment and imagined driving it down the road. She knew there was still a lot of work to do. But she also knew she would not give up. This Jeep had been left alone for too long. Now it had someone who believed in it. As the sky turned orange, Mia stepped out of the Jeep and looked at it again. It was no longer just an old machine. To her, it was something important. And this was only the beginning of its story. Mia returned to the old yard the next morning with fresh energy. The air was cool, and birds were singing in the trees. She walked straight to the Jeep and placed her hand on its side. It felt like greeting a quiet friend. She was ready to continue the work she had started. She opened the hood and looked inside the engine area. It was covered in dust and old oil. She did not feel afraid. She had worked on many machines before. This one was just older. She began to clean each part with care. Her hands moved slowly and gently. She wanted to make sure nothing was damaged. As she worked, people passed by. Some stopped and watched. A few children stood nearby and asked what she was doing. Mia told them she was fixing an old Jeep so it could run again. The children looked excited. They had never seen something from so long ago. One boy asked if the Jeep was from a story. Mia smiled and said it was from real life. That made the children even more curious. They sat on the ground and watched her clean and fix the Jeep. Mia felt happy that they were interested. It was nice to see young eyes learning about something old. After many hours, Mia stepped back and looked at her work. The engine looked cleaner. Some of the metal parts shined again. She felt proud. It was still not ready to start, but it was getting closer. The next task was the tires. They were flat and cracked. Mia knew they could not be used. She went to a nearby shop and asked for old tires that were still in good shape. The shop owner knew her and agreed to help. He gave her 4 tires that fit the Jeep. Mia thanked him and brought them back to the yard. Changing the tires was hard work. She used all her strength to lift and place them. Her hands became dirty and her arms felt tired, but she did not stop. When the last tire was in place, the Jeep looked taller and stronger. It no longer sat low on the ground. It looked ready to move. More people came to see the progress. Some of them had lived in the town for many years. They remembered when vehicles like that were still used. They shared small stories about old days. Mia listened while she worked. It felt like the Jeep was bringing people together. Later that day, Mia filled the Jeep with fresh oil and fuel. She checked everything again. She took a deep breath and turned the key. At first, nothing happened. The engine was silent. Mia did not give up. She tried again. This time, there was a soft sound. The engine moved a little. Mia smiled. She turned the key once more. The sound became louder. The engine started to run, slow but steady. People nearby clapped. Some of them cheered. The children jumped with joy. Mia felt her heart beat fast. She had done it. The old Jeep was alive again. She let the engine run for a few minutes. She listened to every sound. It did not sound perfect, but it sounded strong. She knew there was still more work to do, but this was a big step. The next day, Mia took the Jeep for a short drive inside the yard. She moved it forward and back. The wheels turned smoothly. The Jeep responded well. It was like it was happy to move again after so many years. News of the restored Jeep spread around the town. People came from nearby streets to see it. Some took photos. Some just stood and looked with quiet respect. The Jeep had become something special. Mia decided to paint it. She chose a deep green color like it once had. She carefully painted every part. It took many days. Each day, the Jeep looked better. The color shined in the sunlight. It looked proud. When the paint was done, Mia cleaned the inside. She washed the seats and fixed the small broken parts. She wanted the Jeep to feel comfortable and strong. One evening, she drove the Jeep slowly through the town. People waved at her. Some smiled. The old Jeep rolled through the streets like a piece of history coming back to life. Mia parked it in front of her home. She stepped out and looked at it. It felt like a dream. What once was hidden and forgotten now stood bright and strong. As she went inside her house, she did not know that this Jeep was about to bring someone important into her life. The story of the Jeep was far from over. Mia woke up early the next day feeling calm and happy. She could see the green Jeep from her window. It stood in front of her house, clean and strong. It looked like it belonged there. She smiled and went outside to look at it again. The morning light made the paint shine. She gently touched the door and felt proud of what she had done. The Jeep was no longer forgotten. It was now part of her life. She did not know yet that it would soon change her life in a new way. Later that morning, there was a knock on her door. It was not loud. It was soft and slow. Mia wiped her hands and went to open it. An older man was standing there. He was wearing simple clothes and holding a small hat in his hands. His eyes were looking past Mia, toward the Jeep. They looked full of emotion. His name was Tom. He spoke in a quiet voice. He asked if the Jeep outside was hers. Mia nodded and said yes. Tom took a small step forward. He could not take his eyes off the Jeep. He said that he had not seen a Jeep like that in many years. He said it brought back memories he thought were gone. His voice was gentle but deep. Mia invited Tom to come closer. They walked together toward the Jeep. Tom reached out and touched the side of it. His hand moved slowly over the metal. He told Mia that many years ago he had worked with a Jeep just like this one. It had taken him and his friends on many long roads. It had helped them through very hard days. It was more than a vehicle to him. It was part of his past. Mia listened with care. She could see how much the Jeep meant to him. She felt glad that she had restored it. Tom looked at the Jeep and smiled. His smile was full of feeling. He said it was like meeting an old friend again. They sat near the Jeep and talked for a long time. Tom shared stories about the old days. He talked about the people he worked with and the places he had been. Mia listened with interest. She felt like she was hearing history come alive. The Jeep stood beside them, quiet and strong. It was like it was listening too. As the sun moved across the sky, Tom thanked Mia for bringing the Jeep back. He said that seeing it again had given him comfort. Mia told him she was happy she could do that. She said she never knew that her work would touch someone in this way. Before Tom left, he asked if he could come back again. Mia smiled and said yes. As he walked away, Mia felt something warm in her heart. She knew that the Jeep had done something special. The story was just beginning. Tom came back the next day in the afternoon. The sky was bright, and the air felt warm. Mia was cleaning the Jeep when she saw him walking toward her house. He moved slowly, but his face looked happy. He greeted Mia with a kind smile. She greeted him back. They both looked at the Jeep standing in the yard. It looked strong and bright under the sunlight. Tom said that he could not stop thinking about the Jeep after he went home. It had brought back many memories. Some were happy. Some were quiet. He was thankful that Mia had given him a chance to see it again. Mia listened to him with care. She could see how important this Jeep was to him. She felt glad that her hard work had given someone comfort. They walked around the Jeep. Tom pointed to different parts and told small stories. He talked about long roads and open fields. He talked about people who once sat in seats like these. His voice was calm and full of meaning. Mia enjoyed listening. She felt like she was learning something new with every word. The Jeep was no longer just a project. It was a bridge to another time. Tom asked if he could sit inside the Jeep. Mia said yes. He opened the door and slowly sat on the seat. He placed his hands on the steering wheel. His eyes became soft. For a moment, he did not speak. He just sat there and looked around. It felt like he was back in the past. Mia watched him quietly. After a while, Tom spoke. He said that being inside the Jeep again made him feel peaceful. It was like a long-lost memory had returned. Mia felt happy to hear that. She told Tom how she had found the Jeep in the old yard. She told him how dirty and broken it was. She explained how she cleaned it and fixed it step by step. Tom listened with interest. He was amazed by her patience and care. He said that she had done something very special. They spent the afternoon talking and sitting near the Jeep. Sometimes they laughed. Sometimes they stayed quiet. It felt comfortable. People walking by stopped to look at the Jeep. Some of them knew Tom. They greeted him and asked about the old vehicle. Tom told them a little about it. Everyone enjoyed hearing the story. As the sun began to go down, the sky turned soft orange. Mia brought 2 chairs and they sat beside the Jeep. It looked beautiful in the evening light. Tom said that the Jeep had once helped him feel strong. Now, seeing it again helped him feel calm. Mia realized that even small actions can make a big difference in someone's life. She had only wanted to fix an old Jeep. But she had also brought joy to someone. When it was time for Tom to leave, he thanked Mia again. He said he would come back soon. Mia watched him walk away. She looked at the Jeep and smiled. She knew that this story was becoming something special. Tom came back the next day in the afternoon. The sky was bright, and the air felt warm. Mia was cleaning the Jeep when she saw him walking toward her house. He moved slowly, but his face looked happy. He greeted Mia with a kind smile. She greeted him back. They both looked at the Jeep standing in the yard. It looked strong and bright under the sunlight. Tom said that he could not stop thinking about the Jeep after he went home. It had brought back many memories. Some were happy. Some were quiet. He was thankful that Mia had given him a chance to see it again. Mia listened to him with care. She could see how important this Jeep was to him. She felt glad that her hard work had given someone comfort. They walked around the Jeep. Tom pointed to different parts and told small stories. He talked about long roads and open fields. He talked about people who once sat in seats like these. His voice was calm and full of meaning. Mia enjoyed listening. She felt like she was learning something new with every word. The Jeep was no longer just a project. It was a bridge to another time. Tom asked if he could sit inside the Jeep. Mia said yes. He opened the door and slowly sat on the seat. He placed his hands on the steering wheel. His eyes became soft. For a moment, he did not speak. He just sat there and looked around. It felt like he was back in the past. Mia watched him quietly. After a while, Tom spoke. He said that being inside the Jeep again made him feel peaceful. It was like a long-lost memory had returned. Mia felt happy to hear that. She told Tom how she had found the Jeep in the old yard. She told him how dirty and broken it was. She explained how she cleaned it and fixed it step by step. Tom listened with interest. He was amazed by her patience and care. He said that she had done something very special. They spent the afternoon talking and sitting near the Jeep. Sometimes they laughed. Sometimes they stayed quiet. It felt comfortable. People walking by stopped to look at the Jeep. Some of them knew Tom. They greeted him and asked about the old vehicle. Tom told them a little about it. Everyone enjoyed hearing the story. As the sun began to go down, the sky turned soft orange. Mia brought 2 chairs and they sat beside the Jeep. It looked beautiful in the evening light. Tom said that the Jeep had once helped him feel strong. Now, seeing it again helped him feel calm. Mia realized that even small actions can make a big difference in someone's life. She had only wanted to fix an old Jeep. But she had also brought joy to someone. When it was time for Tom to leave, he thanked Mia again. He said he would come back soon. Mia watched him walk away. She looked at the Jeep and smiled. She knew that this story was becoming something special. The next morning, Mia woke up with a calm feeling. Sunlight came through her window and touched the green Jeep outside. It looked bright and strong. She felt thankful that the old vehicle was now part of her life. She also felt thankful for the new friendship that had grown because of it. Tom arrived later that day. He walked slowly toward the house with a warm smile. Mia went outside to greet him. They stood beside the Jeep and looked at it together. Tom said that he had been thinking about how the Jeep had brought so much meaning back into his life. He said that many memories had returned, and they were not heavy anymore. They felt peaceful. Mia listened and nodded. She told Tom that she never knew that fixing an old Jeep would touch someone so deeply. She only wanted to save something old from being lost. Tom said that sometimes small actions can do big things. He said that Mia had done more than restore a vehicle. She had restored memories. They decided to take the Jeep for a short drive through the town. Mia sat in the driver's seat and Tom sat beside her. The engine started with a steady sound. The Jeep moved forward slowly. As they drove through the streets, people waved at them. Some smiled. Some pointed at the old Jeep with interest. The green paint shined under the sun. It looked proud to be on the road again. Tom looked around with gentle eyes. He said the ride made him feel calm. It reminded him of long roads and open skies from his past. When they returned, Mia parked the Jeep in front of her house. They sat for a moment, enjoying the quiet. Tom thanked Mia again. He said he felt lighter inside. He said that seeing the Jeep again helped him remember good times. Mia smiled. She felt happy knowing that something she had done had brought peace to someone. Over the next few weeks, Tom visited often. Sometimes they talked about the past. Sometimes they talked about simple things like the weather or the town. The Jeep always stood nearby, like a quiet friend. People in the town began to see the Jeep as a symbol. It reminded them that old things still have value. It reminded them that stories should not be forgotten. One day, a group of children came to see the Jeep. They asked Mia and Tom many questions. Tom told them simple stories about the old days. The children listened with wide eyes. Mia watched them and felt glad. The Jeep was not only part of her life now. It was part of the town. As time passed, the Jeep stayed strong and clean. Mia kept caring for it. She wanted it to stay in good shape for many years. Tom felt peaceful knowing the Jeep was safe. He knew it was in good hands. One evening, as the sun set, Mia and Tom sat beside the Jeep. The sky was soft and warm. They did not speak much. They did not need to. The moment felt full. Mia looked at the Jeep and smiled. She knew that this old vehicle had brought something special into her life. It had brought a new friend. It had brought meaning. Tom looked at the Jeep too. He felt thankful. And so the story of the old Jeep continued, not as a forgotten machine, but as a bridge between past and present.